Everybody, this is Todd Frazee, and this is the video tutorial for the CAD and CAM for the 7332 3+1 wrap stock REV A. Now, we're modeling the stock because we're doing fourth axis work. We will be giving you a part file that will represent the actual finished part that will go inside this. It has some common features that are going to be used on another part. We have this close tolerance boss that's going to go into a close tolerance bore in a fixture that holds it on the fourth axis rotary, and this dowel pin hole will be used to index your part. So should you have to take it on and off the machine, that will help you index it to the same location. It also ensures that as this thing is spinning, it will not rotate in the fixture. The concept behind this is that you're going to put a bolt through this hole. It's called a drawbar. It's going to go all the way through the fourth axis to hold this on in a very simple work holding. Okay, so this doesn't represent the finished. The only feature on this that represents the finished part is that boss feature and the hole in the back. Also, this diameter that's 2 inches 430 thousandths. Okay, so we're going to start off. We're going to open our file. We're going to go to Fusion, and the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to save it. And we're going to save this file in the location of your choice. And we want to put the name on your file now. So it's going to be the name of the part with the revision. So this is a 7332 underscore rev A is the version at the time this was recorded. If you have been given a different revision, you need to make it to that revision. And then you're going to put underscore your first initial and last name, which in my case is T Crazy Frazee, and hit save. It's important you do this in the very beginning because this starts the autosave feature. Okay, so let's look at our drawing real quick again. We're going to do this as a revolve feature. The origin's not super critical where that's located. We're going to make it the end of the part where the boss is. That's where it's going to interface with the assembly of the fixture. So for lack of a better place, we're going to do it there. So we need to draw 1/2 of the profile, and we're going to revolve it around. And then we're going to elect to put the chamfers on last and the countersinks, so they could be suppressed if needed later. We won't be suppressing them, but there are times where sometimes you need to do that. Alright, so we're going to go back to Fusion, and we're going to go sketch, and I typically start on the front plane because that's going to be your primary view if you were making a drawing, either in Fusion or SolidWorks. Okay, we're going to start on origin, going to go over to the left, and we're going to make this kind of layered cake shape. Okay, don't get wrapped up on the sizes at this point. We're going to use Fusion's parametrics to set our sizes. We hover over origin, we should be able to get that roughly lined up. And you should have something that represents this somewhat. Make sure you got horizontal relationship here and you're anchored to origin. That's why these two lines turn black. Looks like I got a bunch of perpendiculars. That's okay. But if anything is not perpendicular or vertical like it should be, you might need to make adjustments there. So let's go with our drawing. We're going to go back, and I'm going to set the overall length first, which is 3 inches. And we're going to pick the length of it, type in 3. If you have something like this happens, don't fret. I'm going to hit escape on my keyboard, and I'm just going to drag this feature over to the right, and all is good. Okay, so sometimes you get a problem with scaling where, but typically if you start with your largest entity, a lot of times this will auto scale to the something similar. If your orientation or plane you selected is different than what I did, it will not matter. We will be resetting the origin when it comes to the machining. Okay, so let's start with our largest diameter. We're going to go and look at our drawing. Our largest diameter is 3 inches, which is the stock. So we're not going to be machining that diameter. We're going to start off with round stock. So let's put in half of that, which is 1.5. So we need a radius. Okay. Then our next level diameter, if we look at our drawing, is 2 inches and 430 thousandths. So we'll do that one. We're going to go from this line to this line, and 2.43 divided by 2 should give us our number for the radius. Now we have our last leg here. Okay, it's a 146 to 148. So we want to model this right on the average of that tolerance. So halfway between 149.6 and 149.8 would be 149.7. So that's what we're going to put in there. That way when we do our toolpath, we're starting off at the nominal diameter, and if we need to make adjustments, we're hopefully right in the middle of the tolerance range on our first cut. Okay, so 149.7. Okay, so we're going to pick this last leg here. 1 inch, 0.4897 divided by 2, because it's a radius. Okay, now we've got all of the dimensions for diameters established. Now let's do our horizontal lengths. We go to our drawing. Our first one is 490 thousandths. And then our next leg is 1 inch, 110 thousandths. Okay, so we should have the basic geometry you need to revolve this. I'm going to do a little house cleaning on the dimensions, so when we open this sketch you don't have a spaghetti mess. Lay it out similar to what you would if it was a drawing. Okay, excellent. We're going to check our sketch folders, make sure it has a padlock. We're going to hit finish, and then we're going to do revolve. It selected the body for me. The axis is going to be the line on the bottom. We're going 360 degrees. And then we're going to do a new body. We'll hit OK. Now we're going to open this, and we're going to name this body the 7332. And the reason we're doing that, we're going to put on an underscore, and we're going to call it stock. The reason we're doing that is later we're going to import this in with another model that you're going to import from SOLIDWORKS, and we're going to overlay it as a separate body. Okay, so next item, we're going to take in, we're going to make the hole that goes in all the way through it. So according to our drawing, we've got a 1/2 inch minimum diameter hole. It's assumed to go through because it doesn't say otherwise. And then we have a countersink on the top that's 560 thousandths in diameter on both sides of the part. Okay, so we're going to go back to Fusion, and we're going to use the hole command. And since we're doing a single hole, for our placement, we're just going to pick origin here and select on the endpoint on origin. Okay, so we've got our hole. We haven't told it what size it is. We're going to go extents. We're going to go through all. So it goes all the way through the part. And our hole type is going to be a countersunk type. Now, this software, at the time this was recorded, it was only capable of putting the countersink on one side. So we're going to have to use the chamfer command to put it on the opposite. So our hole diameter is a 1/2 inch. And then our countersink is a 90 degree. Okay, that way we can use our spotting tool to make that. I'm sorry, I put in the wrong number. The 1/2 inch is here. And then our countersink diameter is 0.56. Let me hit OK. There's our hole. So let's go look at our drawing. It's a 251 to 253, so nominally 1/4 inch. If we do the math, we're going to draw a 252 hole. And it's an inch on, it's on center line vertically and 1 inch spacing. And we go back to Fusion. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to hit sketch. We're going to pick on the plane the hole goes in. And we're going to create a line. It's going to go from origin straight up. Make sure it gets the vertical constraint here. If it doesn't, add it. We're going to right click on that line. We're going to convert it to a construction line. And then we're going to do a dimension on it of 1 inch. So the end point of that construction line represents the center of the dowel pin hole we're going to put in. Now you can use another method. You can use the hole wizard and give it a distance and some other things. I prefer to have something that's easier to edit in a sketch, and then it moves your constraints around a little more visually controlled. Okay, so now we're going to go to the hole wizard, and we're going to select our endpoint here, and our hole is too big because the last one we did was 1/2 inch, but we're doing a 252 diameter, so let's change that first. Say 252, and then our countersink diameter was 0.31. And this one is going to be a distance, and so our distance is not going to be 3 inches. We're going to do what's on the drawing, and it is 260 thousandths deep. And so our depth is going to be 0.26. We'll hit OK. And there's our close tolerance dowel pin hole, index hole. Okay, the only thing left is to put some chamfers on. So according to our drawing, we have a 50 thousandths by 45 on the top of here. And then we need to make the equivalent of this 560 on the opposite side here. So let's do this one first. So it's a 50 thou by 45. We're going to go to the modify, and we're going to do a chamfer, and we're going to select this edge here. And it's a 0.05. So there's our 50 thou chamfer. We hit OK. Now what size is this one? So we need to do a calculation to figure out what size chamfer that would be used on this side for the chamfer command. So if we had our 1/2 inch hole, we can do our little calculator here for demonstration purposes. Our countersink diameter was 0.56, and we minus 0.5, which is our basic hole size. And that leaves us with 60 thousandths difference. Divide that by 2, which means we need a 30 thousandths chamfer. Okay, so we're going to go back over here. We're going to go to the chamfer tool. And we're going to select the inside of this, and we're going to type 0.03. I suppose if you planned ahead, you could do one chamfer command with two different lines. I tend to separate them discreetly so that you can suppress the chamfers of specific sizes in a common. One last feature to do, if we look at our drawing, we've got a small 10 thou chamfer on this edge. Let's go add that and we'll be done with the model. Go back to the chamfer command. I'm going to select this outside edge and we're putting an edge brake on it. Now we're not putting edge brakes on the rest of this because this is going to be all machined off from the finished part. So everything we have that's a finished surface on the part has edge brakes on it. And we've modeled this. Okay, now we're going to set up the stock for this. So we've got our body that's the 7332, which is this part number. And again, it is stock for another part number later, but we're going to treat this as its own part number. And we're mostly modeling the stock for fixturing purposes so that we can visualize it for setup documentation. Oftentimes I'll program something like this without the vise imported and use a different method. But here we go. We're going to make the cylinder that this is cut out of. This is a 3-inch diameter stock by 3-inch long, and we've got the stock that's cut for it is an 1/8 inch longer, so you got 60 thou per side. We're going to make a sketch, and we're going to pick on this face, and we're going to go ahead and draw a circle, and we're going to make it tangent to our model. Now there's a project feature. I love it in another software, but this one I don't prefer it, so we're just going to use a circle instead. And we're going to hit finish sketch, and we're going to do a projected body, and we're going to pick on the sketch we made. And we're going to do a two-sided extrusion. We're going to go in two different directions. And we have an 1/8 inch of extra stock on the end, so we got a 1/16 per side, so 0.0625 is a 1/16. And in the opposite direction, we're going to go 3 inches. Got the wrong one there. It's going to be 3 inches, 0.0625 in the one direction, and 0.0625 in the opposite. Okay. And it's going to change to a cut because it thinks it's cutting through the material. We're going to change that to a new body. So we now have this cylinder that's offset from one face by 1/16. And then we have the other extrusion going the opposite way by 3 inches and 1/16. So that should net 3 1/8. We're going to hit OK. And so we should have this body that looks like this. I'm not sure why my sketch there was visible. And you can see the witness lines where the diameter is the same and our parts inside the stock. Now let's go over to the body and we're going to relabel that stock so that we can differentiate between. And we're going to right click on the body called stock, and we're going to opacity control and make it 50% transparent. And this will allow us to see through it.